Oh boy, what a lovely way to kick off the weekend, huh? Well, I worked until almost 12 in the morning yesterday, and I actually was surprised. I thought they were going to keep me there until 1 o'clock, like last weekend, not weekend, last Friday. But once that thing hit 11:30, they let me go, and I was pretty relieved because, like I said, I'm never against working at all, ever. But I do have a thing where when people tell you you're going to be here for this amount of hours and then that gets stretched out by an extra two, three, four, you just start to pass out or get tired and are fatigued because they're not honoring what they said they would do on paper. And I just like it when a lot of this stuff is consistent with itself. Let me see. I was going to say that a while back I spoke of this idea I had for a book, and my thing is in the past, I used to just sit there and write books and post them or whatever. But I think I prefer the format of doing it chapter by chapter. And then like read it for like a video and then you put it up piece by piece as you go along. Um, but it all ties back into this concept I've always been a fan of, which is the sort of like monkey's paw, where you'll have a person who wants something and they get it on a technical level, but then not really, in the sense that it's not a desirable version of the thing they had envisioned. So, like, for example, we talk about how in real life, a lot of people um, will look at, relationships, and they'll have some idealized version of it. Oh, if you start dating some woman, you'll get to have this person who is really into you and likes you and all the rest of the little stuff they say. But then, we've discussed before that a lot of times you'll have some man that'll be with some woman and then she only likes him for his money or some other thing that he clearly did not want to be the case. And I was saying, I liked the script I wrote last year where there was the, I guess, man who had superpowers, but never was able to have a family, which is like the prize, the thing that he wanted the most. And then he finds out there's this alternate universe where he has a daughter, and the little girl inherited his powers, but then she's using them for evil. One of the worst serial killers just in American history. Total, complete besmirching of what his intentions were. And that's a example of what I'm talking about, where you get what you want. He has a child. That's something that he wanted to have in the proper continuity, but then it's still not what he wants because the child is completely adverse to everything that he would have liked to have seen in an offspring. Um, but I was watching this movie and it was about this. I'm telling you, sometimes I read things, I watch things, I do that to get a little bit of inspiration. And I don't necessarily set out to watch things just to get inspiration. Sometimes it just happens. Like I'll watch something and I go, that idea kind of sounds interesting. I think I could revisit that. I don't know what the hell I did. I think I wrapped this bag up in some convoluted way. But I was saying I was watching this movie and it was about this married couple who, the guy starts working for some woman and she becomes like obsessed with him and pretty much tries to get him to initiate a romantic relationship with her, cheat on his wife, and he bends the knee to it in a few extents. And when he finally is like, okay, I can't let this go further, she tries to like destroy him. And I was saying, I always thought, I thought it'd be really interesting because like we talk about kind of like the souring of romantic relationships and just knocking them off their pedestal. So like somebody can in an abstract sense have wanted to have a girlfriend, be married, etc., but then they can go out in the real world and see how much these concepts don't transfer over to meaningful things for them, or things that are the way that they would like them to be, and become a lot less interested in having the things proceed in that way. And I said I thought it'd be interesting if in the story, because it takes place over several years, like I want it to be from the, the initial thing that like causes him to get that constant sense of dread about whatever will happen to him. And he meets this lady who, pays him to do some work, whatever stuff he can do, kind of kind of a wish fulfillment. You instead of, flipping burgers or doing whatever other type of job you'd rather not do, how about you do something that's in your skill set, or very much a thing that appeals to you to do. And at first he goes, hey, this is kind of nice having somebody that, seems to like me being around, and gives me some incentive to work that also is part of my own ambitions. And um I would have it set off to where she starts to kind of unravel, in the sense that it's like, hey, so when you come and write this script, you're gonna come over my house, right? Okay, maybe tomorrow you can come over. Just kind of like obsessive in a way. And again, at first he's like really into it because he never gets any attention from most people outside of like a few relatives who are, really like small tight knit group. And I would have it to where she is very much crazy, like just some kind of screws loose. I'd have it implied that she is not above doing violent things if it means getting what she wants, just doing stuff behind the scenes to get what she wants, manipulative things. And I would try very, because, you know, what I've attempted to say repeatedly throughout the various streams and videos is that sometimes when a man is open to being in a relationship with a woman, it's not about her being perfect or great or even good. It's that many instances have occurred where we, just speaking of men in general, will have like nothing, no woman that shows any interest in us, no woman that ever finds us appealing. And in that lack of, what's the word for it? You could say progression, interest, etc. We tend to, or we can possibly be coerced into being involved with women that are not ideal, or that we know are probably not all put together, or people that we would otherwise pay as much attention to if we had better options. Like I talked about the crazy coworker, and it's like that's someone who, I mean, we talked about just the weird stuff. Oh, I'm not a texting person. I don't do calls. Just things I thought were crazy. And I said, honestly, because I explained in my Everything Started Crumbling, Leaving Nothing video that I thought she appealed to me, or at least was able to arouse as much of my attention, because it was like a vacuum, right? Where it's just, you don't talk to chicks anymore for the purpose of getting the date. So like, here's this one, and you have like much lowered expectations of what's going to happen with, and then you eventually just kind of, you know, make your move in a way where it's like, okay, if this person doesn't like me, whatever, I don't care, just going to see a movie. And I was saying that I think if hypothetically there was some other woman who did not block me from being able to do calls with her, and actually responded when I sent her messages, um, and hell, who even was like, hey, let's go see a movie, yeah, sure, why not, yeah, let's do it this Saturday, this Sunday. If someone who was like more showing of an interest in actually becoming friends with me outside of there was around, if it was just one or two, she probably wouldn't even be on my radar. Like, I would have looked at the no texting thing and been like, this is stupid. The no calling thing, rather than just like, yeah, this is dumb. But I'm saying that because of the again, lack of attention, you put up with things that you otherwise would probably have no patience for. God, I remember when I was in seventh grade, there was this one girl that was in my class, and we used to talk on the phone for It could have been hours because a lot of the kids in my school, it was a tight knit uh, Catholic school. These classes were really small. You had like 15, 14. So a lot of us like were really just kind of like extremely used to each other, and we would get in these calls that were sometimes it was two people, three people, four people, five people. And I always that is one thing about my past I miss, just the interconnectivity where it felt like everyone kind of, I don't want to say cared about each other, but there was like a genuine desire to at least try to keep in contact, right? And it was only after going to high school that you see how much that changed. But yeah, in this version of the story, I'd say because I'm aiming for at least 16 chapters. It could be 17, 18, 19. Um, but I would want the woman to come in because the way I have it envisioned, I have most of the first one written, is that it's like in that first one where you see the initial thing that causes him to kind of become depressed, and then the second one is just piling on, and the third one is a little ray of hope, right? Where it looks like, okay, maybe, yeah, things are bad now, but maybe they're not going to be bad forever. And then four is like a little bit more hope. And then five, you know, when he finally, this could be when he has the kid or, when the woman is like, hey, let's get married, whatever. But it would be five where, like around five and six, where you start to get like more of that. Because the idea here is that you need to be knocked all the way down to be built back up just to be ripped back down again. You know, we have to give you something you've been aiming for, you've been wanting, you've been desiring, so that when it gets pulled away, we can understand where you're just like, yeah, this is never going to change. But no, I've seen this trope a lot in these different films where there's some like third party that's messing with a married person and they become obsessed with the person that is married. And I always wondered what would happen if you kind of take that same relationship dynamic, but you remove the fact that like it's a married couple, you just have someone obsessed with somebody else that they want to have more with, and the person maybe does like them back to an extent, right? But doesn't necessarily want to commit to them. And it's only through the fact that they're like, hey, look, if you marry me, you'll get what you want. You'll have a family. That they're like, oh man, like I have to, because I want there to be a scene where he's confronted. And they're like, why would you marry someone that you know is crazy? Like, why would you want to be with a person who you there's no misconceptions about it. She's nuts. She possibly did, tried to get you out of, this job, or tried to just like would look for various ways to screw with him after he declined her advances. And when he comes up to her and he says, listen, if you want me to be with you, I need to know if you are willing to do this. And when she agrees to it, that's it. But I would want some scene where the other characters are like, why would you want to be with someone like that? What's wrong with you? And he says, look, for years people have floated this idea that I was going to meet someone that not only liked me back but had the same goals as me, and et cetera, et cetera. And it never came. Year after year, it was the same old repetitive cycle of you meet somebody, um, they either say they like you but then don't actually show anything that demonstrates that, or they say they're not interested in you in that way, and then you start talking to somebody else and just the cycle repeats itself on and on and on. And you just he would say like, I just got sick of it. And here's this person who, yeah, she is crazy, yeah, she wants to have me around every like 10 seconds, but at least I know I won't be alone. At least I know that she seems to be serious about doing this thing with me that I want. I hate to say beggars can't be choosers, but that's kind of the gist of the idea that if, the idealized perfect woman who is sane is clearly not interested in him. And he's just taking what he can get at this point. It's been years of nothing. And when someone shows up and seems to be kind of like attempting to reverse that trend, he'll take it. Mm. God, writing is so just. As I said before, sometimes I think writing's harder than drawing. Because at least when I'm drawing, I have an idea of what I want something to look like before I do it. With writing, you can have a story where it's just like, oh yeah, here's this thing I want to see happen, but then how you get there, I don't know. You tell me. Mm. No, I'm just trying to think what else I would stick in there. Um, I would really make it apparent that this is not the type of story where a character will just because I have this other character in there who's kind of, she is someone he's known for a long time, someone that I think can understand his pain, but she's just not willing to commit to him in the same way that this other woman is. Uh, and that's a problem for him because it's just you can't you need, and this is what is so I find so interesting, like the backdrop of all of these different like deaths and just the taking of more and more people that this person cares about is the desire for some stability, for to have a person that like commits to him in a sense, is like, yeah, I won't leave you, I won't just go away, that's very essential to him because this is a time where everything seems to just be crumbling and leaving nothing. It's hard to make a character that is like crazy or nuts or has like whatever type of characteristics that you would deem as being negative or like bad, and then also show where the protagonist would like them. It's been my experience, especially this year, in seeing how a lot of these chicks uh, will change on someone in like in very short amounts of time, like within hours or a day, just go from liking you to trying to stab you in the back, especially if you've had the misfortune of working with them. And I would try at the start of maybe the third, fourth, fifth chapter to kind of like show where this guy works a job and here's this woman that he was like nice to, or was nice to him, pleasant, and they say hello to each other, and all of a sudden starts ignoring him, and like he make some joke about, hey, you're, and that's like enough for her to try and get him in trouble. And when he looks at this other lady, the one that he is that's like crazy, he's like, you know what, she may be a little out there, but at least I can believe when this person says, stay with me and I will stay with you, um, that she's serious about it, that if, as long as I follow this set of guidelines, she will be consistent, because that's something, again, that matters to me. I like consistency. I like when, like, my thing is, if people are having a bad day, a problem, just tell the person that, say, hey, look, I'm upset about this other thing. I'm not kidding. Some of them will just change so rapidly, like extremely fast, and you don't have to do anything to them. You can go from just saying hello and getting completely ignored to making a joke and they try to get you in trouble. Like, it's crazy. It's a type of crazy that I just don't have the patience for. I like consistency a lot. I value it, and when I don't see it being demonstrated, I have a tendency to want to get away from the people that are not following it. Hmm. Tony, I feel like my phone just keeps going off. I know it's not actually my phone. I just hear this ring noise. I'm telling you, these people just, you can't trust any of them. Like, I don't say that to be funny. I don't say it to be facetious. I really mean that you when they talk to you, when they pretend to like you just can't trust them. You're like, okay, they say this, but they don't actually mean that. So many lies. Hmm. Yeah, we're supposed to be having some kind of event for my job today, and I said, and they, this is what drives me crazy. They do this thing, and I've always despised it. Anytime they have a day where there's an event, it goes two ways. Either it's in the morning, and it's the day after I get off of a very late shift, um, or it's in the morning and they expect me to come back up there to work later in the day. But yeah, this is an era of isolation. Uh, I mean, I guess I kind of got used to that 2018, 19, 20 period where it was like you would go on some site and talk to some broad for however many months, and some of them would do VCs and some of them would only want to talk in writing. And I don't know, it just felt like there's a part of me that kind of misses that a little bit, but I just don't have the patience for that stuff anymore. Like, there's no payoffs, as I've said before. All the hours that go into these people, and they just it's all for nothing. You know, I actually told my friend I'd like to have him come to my job just on the day when I'm not working. We could just go out there and both get something to eat. And I was telling them, you know, I I really felt that way, or felt like doing that, because I didn't want to. What happens is that a lot of people that work at these places, they develop this idea of someone where they base their entire belief system on this person at this job. They think like I've heard some of them refer to me as their friend, for example, and of course I don't, believe that of any of them after the things I've been through with what's her name. But my point is that to have someone who's completely unrelated to that place just show up there with me and we're like joking and talking, I like the that being a thing that's projected, because it shows that I have a life completely separate from just coming there and, you know, getting treated like trash for 4 to 7 hours a day. Because I said before, I'm not really in any of the cliques over there, and I see them. They go in together, sit together, and when they get off, they one drives another one to their house, and they walk together. You know, I'm completely separate from the rest of that stuff, and for the most part, I don't mind it, because, like I said, the closer you get to these people, the higher the chances they'll give you that good old knife in the back. But there's also the part of me that just feels like, at a certain point, it just gets kind of frustrating to um to have them like believe just think you are this singular entity that has no friends or any of this other like rude stuff. So for I limit the number of them on purpose, because I just the betrayals have been too much. Yeah, it's I don't know, maybe I'll give Piscord one more try. So many of these websites, I go on them and I just look at my profile. I'm like, oh yeah, I know why I quit using you. I know why we parted ways. I know why we're done with each other. No, I'm really just tired of the way people up there act. I there's a silver lining in the sense that I might finally be getting something that's going to assist me with the ridiculous cost of living, and if I get it, then I don't I won't be needing that job, or rather, I won't be as dependent on it, and I could say the hell with it if I wanted to. Of course, I wouldn't want to be unemployed for too long, but I don't know. It's so surreal to think that I'm really at a point with working there where I no longer am afraid about, oh, your job performance was bad, right? Like, hey, you didn't do this quick enough, or you that like I almost have no actual fears about that anymore. The only thing I'm really worried about are these stupid chicks. They like I'm not kidding when I say that they can get mad at you over anything and twist anything into grounds to try and get somebody in trouble. I told you about the one that said she was going to report the guy for saying that she was for calling her a leprechaun because how short she was. Uh, just stupid stuff. And like I laughed about it because I thought it was goofy. I didn't laugh to her face, but just I thought it was goofy. But they say those types of things in complete seriousness. They actually believe they have a grounds to try getting someone possibly fired for making a joke. And it drives me insane because I sit there sometimes in that back room while I'm cleaning stuff up and I hear them giggling. I hear them calling each other names. They're making comments about each other's appearance. You're this, you're that, look at how big you are, look at how small you are. And my thing is like, I hear that stuff and no one talks about reporting anybody. No one talks about, getting him out the door. You don't see that when they do it to each other. But if I make any type of comment, it could be something as light as, "Oh, how are you?" For all you know, they can twist that and try to make it sound like you're doing something to them. I mean, it's insane. But welcome to the modern era. All you need is a taco to be able to get somebody in trouble. A taco, a triangle, whatever. It's God. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I when I watch them talk to each other and just how vulgar they can be, how rude they can be, and I see how quickly someone can look at me and go, "Oh, I didn't like what you said to me, so I'm going to call up this number. I'm going to tell the manager." I mean, you can't win. And that's my point that like some of the and people will get mad at me for this, but some of these chicks have these extremely fragile it could be self-esteem, it could be egos. I mean, whatever you want to call it. They have this thing where if anyone says something of them that is not conducive to just kissing their backside, they believe they have the right to destroy that person's life and livelihood. If you say anything that is not complimentary of them, get ready to be targeted for an attempt at destruction. I'm not even joking. I've seen the types of things they've tried to get people in trouble over. I saw the types of things they tried to get me in trouble over. So I know now, and I've known since at least February, that whenever one of them is walking around me, just be wary, be careful. And it's not all of them. I don't believe any of the managers would do that, for example. I don't, there's this other lady, she's actually told me that she's been reported multiple times for saying the N word, when you're listening to a song, which I don't like, but I wouldn't personally report somebody over that because it's a song. You're whatever. Anyways, my point is that I'm not saying it's all of them that will do that, but it certainly is enough to where you can realistically watch someone go from smiling in your face and acting like they like you to trying to get you thrown out of there in again literally less than 24 hours. I wish we had a better generation of women. That's all I can say. But no morals, no standards, no sense of decency. It's literally just you said something I didn't like, so say goodbye to being alive. And it drives me absolutely insane. Like imagine pretending to like somebody and just doing this to them. Hey, person that I claimed I liked, not really. Ha, 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 ha. So I said the mixed signals queen has left a lasting legacy. I mean, I'm at a. It's been what 3 months since that report. I have not made any attempts at trying to see a movie with another one up there. There's like two that I dipped my toe in the water of trying to speak to outside of there, and it was like again strictly like work related. So how you doing? Am I gonna see you again, etc. But it's been like I've really been struggling to even think of trying to get to know one of them like that again because like I said, in trying to go see a movie with somebody, it blew up in my face in ways I couldn't have foreseen. Oh boy, put this pillow behind me, make my back more more firm. I guess you could say. Back with some refreshments. Honestly, if I lived by myself, I didn't have to worry about somebody going and grabbing the only cold water in the refrigerator and not putting another one in there. I probably would just have like I would drink way more water than I do. Um, crap. Ugh, way more water. I'd probably go through 14 bottles a week, two a day, maybe three at most. Um, and the biggest problem with living with other people is that anytime you have something that you buy for yourself, for some reason, other people who could go and just get it themselves, they have to eat it. You know, they have to like go and mess with it and chew on it and do all the rest of that goofy stuff. So you never get to keep it, unfortunately, or you get very little of it. Like you could buy a pack of 5 bars of ice cream, and then by the time they're through with it, you get like two. You better eat all of them quick. Oh man, I tell you, I feel like opening up another When the World Seemed New stream. And like I said, that period back when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13, there was always this idea that you could be whatever you wanted to be. And it just seemed like a lot of the stuff that was foreshadowed back then didn't pan out to what it was supposed to be. Just like in the general sense of like, I give an example. Back when I was in probably sixth, seventh grade, I had these like fantasies of what it would be like to date a girl or whatever. And again, it was like the basic thing of you see someone that you think is pretty, try getting to know this person, and then after however many days, weeks, whatever, ask them out. Uh, and if they agree to it, then become a couple. And I would just like see these images in my mind of just holding hands and kissing and all the rest of that stuff, and it never panned out. You never saw that actually happen. Uh, and like I said, not for lack of trying. I mean, I know the internet people, internet guys rather, the weird men in their fake success are going to come around. You didn't try hard enough, all the rest of that stuff. But it's so crazy to me that like you go through this elongated saga of talking to chicks on Reddit and some different dating sites and even a few from all the various schools you went to, and just nothing comes out of it. Like, it's really crazy. Chicks from different countries, chicks from different states. I mean, it doesn't matter. They can live right down the street from you and they'll still come up with 900 reasons why you would never work out. And all you do is just jump through the hoops year after year, woman after woman. I mean, I remember back in, was it 2017, there were like, I was talking, I think, four chicks at once who had all like discovered me through here. And one of them was from another state. And she's the one that said she didn't want to have kids, which was already like a non starter for me. I thought she was okay looking, whatever. There was another one in not Istanbul, some other country. I'm forgetting it, but that one drove me. I think I put on one of my videos where it was like she asked me all these personal questions about my life goals and what I was going to school for, and right? And then like you answer all her crap, and then she tells you, "I don't think this is going to work out." After like you don't even try. You don't even try. Um, what's the other one? Oh yeah, and then the one that was in another country that was I agreed to change her religion to get married to her, and I only asked her to get married because her religion's barred from day. But just like all the jumping through hoops, just doing damn near anything to not be alone, and you're at the end of it, you're left with nothing. You're left with a giant waste of time by a bunch of people who they don't give a damn. It's not their life that's being played with and in their chain that's being yanked. And that's why when I think back to those all those like failed attempts at being one of these bastards, I always contrast it with the mixed signals queen because I really did think, hey, look, I just want to be friends. She's okay looking girl, whatever, but certainly not someone I'd want to do anything with. Personally, I just think the age gap is too big. But also, I'm not interested in chicks like her. I don't really like the makeup thing. Her height's not a problem for just she's physically she's just okay to me. I'm not trying to do anything with her, and that's why I thought I truly convinced myself, hey, this might actually turn into something, right? Because like I was looking at the things that were happening since November. I hadn't had a job where they kept me for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Well, at that point it had already been three, and I was like, hey, I kind of feel more comfortable here, and I've been having little comments and side gags with her for a while. How about we actually try to take this in a different direction? Hey, what's the worst that could happen? Or I had the guy that said that he thought we were flirting, all types of little stuff. And I was like, man, it's crazy that like all you wanted to do was this thing that you have seen like I know people go to the movies together. Hey man, you doing anything this weekend? And it's like, how did it get so screwed up? Like I replay in my mind all the time of like that should not have happened. That's why I say I just can't look at the trajectory of this stuff and be satisfied, which is what causes me to basically say to hell with it with trying again. because it's like, what's going to be different this time? Because if it happens again, I'm gonna look even dumber for thinking it was going to be different. I'll become the self parody. I can't believe this thing that has already happened before happened a second time, or third time, or fourth time, or fifth time. I mean, it just doesn't matter what. That's why I said I always look at a lot of this romantic stuff in such an abstract way, where it's like, when you've had chicks that will sit there and call you all type, just blow smoke up your behind, right? Oh, you're so handsome. Oh, you're so smart. Oh, I like you, whatever, whatever. But then they're not willing to do anything with you. Hey, I don't think this will work out, even though we've never actually tried. It's just, that's why I said, like, I know it's cool for the like trolls to come online and talk about, oh, he's the I word, but you just get so disenfranchised with, like the constant yanking of your chain, just the stuff they say. I call it coded language to try and get you to believe this will be different when it's not. Um, and that's why I said I would rather have someone tell me no. Like if I asked them, hey, you want to go see a movie? No. Or hey, you want to go on a date? No. Right. I'd rather have them say that up front than do the rest of this, like, again, jumping through hoop crap. I want to get to know you first, and I don't know if we're a good match. Like, let's cut the nonsense, okay? Let's just get down to a basic consensus of, you don't like this person in that way, which you're allowed to not like them in that way, and they should leave you alone. I mean, we don't need the elongated, saga of 500 text messages every week, and until you eventually stop answering because you met some other guy, and then you have to start all over again. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's redundant. It's dumb, and everybody knows it is. I mean, again, that's why I said, like, we're at a point now where we've always been at this point, but like a lot of these guys that come on that stuff, they don't even respond to what I'm saying. They just type things. Like, you can do a whole video breaking down how sick you are of getting the same result over and over, albeit with different things that they say or do to get that result. Some outright say they like you, some compliment your physical appearance, some compliment your whatever. They just, but you're just hard of getting that same result with this elongated saga on top of it. And they'll just say, well, you just got to try harder, just do something different. They don't respond to like the individual points of, okay, why is it all right for someone to waste this much of someone's time if they don't like them in this way? They can't answer that, because it's like they know it's dumb. That's why they have to just pretend they don't hear it, or watch the video but then like cut out that part, or not, just purposeful ignorance is what I call it. No, there's another lady up there. If the other one is mixed signals queen, she's mixed signals princess. Like, damn. I'm not even trying to be funny. I feel like, because I haven't really gone into just what I've seen with some of the women that work there, but man, they are really making me believe there's like some untreated, like, and I'm not even saying to be funny. I'm just going off of what I've seen. Some of that, like, they're starting to get me to think that there's an undiagnosed amount, like high amount of women with like bipolar disorder. Like, because I'm not even trying to be humorous. They'll change on you so quickly in a matter of days. Sometimes, like with the one that I not mixed signals queen, mixed signals princess. Literally, this person will show up, say nothing to you, and then later on she's like laughing at something you said, or I mean, it's crazy. What is wrong with these bastards, man? Like, the people I don't like and I ignore. I don't laugh at their jokes. I don't look at them. You know, I'm consistent. I'm not gonna sit here and smile at you on Monday and despise you on Tuesday. That's only thing something that I've seen weird chicks do. It's just a bizarre group of people, like just really weird. And of course, nobody ever criticizes them for that. Do I want to get Starbucks this early? I don't know. I'm debating it. I think I might wait until later. I actually walked to Starbucks I believe it was last Saturday, and it was interesting because I never go in there physically, and I saw this cashier lady that I thought was kind of pretty. Um, but of course, I just had them take my order, whatever. I don't know. I'm always kind of reluctant because I said before I see attractive chicks all the time. I'm always reluctant to just start up something with one of them somewhere because it just again so often has been so futile, I guess you could say. That's why with regard to the job, it's a lot easier to speak to the ones that are there because of like the months of just back and forths and seeing the person on average, multiple times a week and whatnot. Like there's this other one I haven't heard from her since last Saturday, Sunday, and I feel a temptation to reach out to her again, but I just like I said, the betrayals, man, they pile up on you. No, these are some very villainous characters, and I just hope I can keep staying away from them. But if I do get in trouble again, I'm going to just flat out turn complete silent mode, uh, because I do think that, and this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. I've always felt as though there are people who take advantage of what they perceive to be my personality. So like when I'm there, I try to tell some jokes. I try to have fun in the general sense of like I don't want to just sit there and be miserable doing whatever the job they assign me to do. Um, but I'm just kind of at a point where if what I think might happen and it's successful, right? As far as like they don't take my side like they with the other one, I'll just completely abandon even attempting to show any kind of humor. I'll just sit there quietly or stand there quietly for again 4 to 7 hours a day. Because I'm not. I don't think it's right that someone shows up every day, performs a task asked of them, and then gets in trouble because some angry little woman didn't like that he said this or he made it. It's like stupid. It's dumb, and I'll show him how dumb it is. A friendly work environment. It's not friendly when people try to get you in trouble for anything. Yeah, one of my coworkers actually took off her hat when we were outside talking yesterday, and I said if I I might I would give a compliment if I didn't think I'd get in trouble over it. She had some nice long hair. I don't know. I just it's frustrating to want to be more with people than you're allowed to. And it's not even like a particular fixation, right? It's just like, hey, there's someone that I kind of like speaking to. Would be nice if I could hang out with them. Oh, yeah, oh wait, I'll never have the courage to do it because look what happened the last time I did. How much that backfired. Because I don't enjoy just keeping everyone at an arm's length. And I've never been afraid of like for me it wouldn't even be the idea that someone would say no to it. It's like whatever, but it's the fact that like they could say no and he tried to ask me if I wanted to go and hang out with him. That's the kind of thing that makes me feel nervous about doing it because it's not even just like someone turning you down. It's the fact that they like you need to be destroyed because they didn't reciprocate. They need you out of there. You're like the scum of the earth because you dared to ask one of them if they wanted to see you outside of there. Like, what's wrong with you? Are you sick? That's the part that drives me crazy. Like just how much trouble you can get in potentially over a very simple desire that like I said, people up there do all the time together. It's just that if you're a man and you ask a woman to do anything, it can be interpreted in a romantic way or a you know inappropriate way. And here we go. That's what I said. I just and then you had molecule splitter, the brain rot extraordinaire. Talk about don't mess with girls at work. I said, dude, I wouldn't mess with them. Period. All they do is try to get me in trouble and lie and waste my time. Good job missing the point there, buddy. Yeah, they are really crazy. I will say the one good thing that came out of the last month or so is I don't think about what's her name and them as much. I mean, it still is awful. You have to see that person that often after what they did, but I was like really disturbed by how much thought was getting put into that jerk after that thing happened. And yeah, I'll mention it on the stream, but when I'm just like sitting here, it's not as bad as it was before. Nowhere near as bad. I just kept telling myself they don't care about me, so I shouldn't care about them. I'm nothing to them, so they should be nothing to me. Oh, is the sun up? Only a little bit. Oh, there's just barely 5, so I guess it makes sense. I guess that adds up. No, I've really tried as hard as I can to abide by the rules of this place, even if it feels like they're putting in new ones every day. Mm. I'm trying to think how many months do I think I'll survive here. So like I said before, they're doing the hour cutting thing where after next week, I'm only going to have 3 days a week, which is really irritating, annoying, stupid, dumb, etc., etc. But the one good thing to come out of it is that I might, it might only be for that week. It might be for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, etc. Um, but there is still a solid chance they'll probably try to bring me back for more after they call themselves saving some money by using people a lot less, because it's not just me, they're doing it to some other people as well. I looked on there and I see other people there for 3 days instead of the five I was getting. It just drives me crazy. Can't wait to go looking for another job again. Yay. Still laughing at that one place where you go for the interview and they're like, we really need people for full-time positions. Look out, apply for full-time position. Well, unfortunately, we have our stock for training days is completely staffed. Like, how do you need people for full-time? But then when they agree to full-time, just, just clowns, man. I already said before, it's impossible like, I truly believe it's impossible to get a full-time job anywhere at this point. Because like I said, I go to interviews, they ask me how many hours you want, 40. They give you like 20, 25, or even less than that. I had 10 one week. Like I said, I just roll with the punches. I'm trying to survive in this crappy setting. It's not easy, but I feel like I'm fighting as hard as I can. Of course, if you listen to one relative, I should feel bad for ever getting anything I enjoy, because God forbid me wanting to read. I mean, that's terrible. It's horrible. They are always cutting hours. It's so obnoxious. Hey, person that said they want to work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. How about 2 days a week? So I said you just get tired of the same old stuff with these jobs, man. Well, I think I'll probably get off of here because I am pretty tired. Uh, have to work tomorrow, and I think there's a possibility I could stream on Monday, but it's another one of those shifts that's like in the earlier part of the day, and I don't, I have to leave 2 hours early, so it's also not, yeah, that great of a scheduling thing. But we'll see. Um, Thanks for watching, and I guess have a good rest of your weekend. Um, Probably try to get around to editing another. I took a break from the documentaries for like the last week. I just was burnt out after LBJ Part 6. But I'll try to start up on Part 7 sooner than later. So thanks for showing up, and see you.